Okay, let's talk about mulch. Boo wants to play ball at the same time, so I'm trying to do this with my left hand, and we'll see how it goes. There are important do's and don'ts about mulch. Let's begin by going over the three main reasons for using mulch. One is to keep weeds down, and you do that partly by covering them and partly by creating a layer that makes it easier to pull them out. Another is to keep moisture in, and another is to add nutrients. So what kinds of things can you use to mulch? Now technically you could say that my brick pavers and pea gravel here are mulch. They are only a mulch for keeping weeds down, though I don't do them obviously right up against the plants. You can use compost, you can use cardboard or paper or rugs, but again you have to consider what might hide underneath them and also what they might put into the soil. Now you can see that I mulch extensively with grass clippings, and if you've been following my blog very much, you know that I've been doing that for probably 20 years, even though some people say it takes nutrients out of the soil to degrade them and all. I find that it works very well for me. But with any kind of mulch, one of the main things you need to be careful of is not putting it on too thick. That may seem counterintuitive because you think the more the better, right? But that is not the case. If you put many kinds of mulch on too thick, they will have mold and rot in them in ways that will be harmful. Also, if you pile up the mulch too high, it can inhibit the plants from being able to grow right, or it can be a place where bugs can hide and cause damage. Now, a couple of exceptions to that in a lot of ways are potatoes, which are right here, and I sometimes just throw mulch over the top of them. I'm also in places where I want the weeds to stay down. The other exception is leeks, which is what I have here next to my tomatoes, because you frequently want to mound up on them to get more of the white part, which is the main part that you want on the leeks. I have heard that some people just mulch with their weeds. So one thing I'd like to mention in particular is that I make sure that my grass clippings are from grass that is not going to seed. I do not want to be seeding weeds, or grass in this case, into my garden beds or pathways. It's usually best to wait until you've got some sprouts that are easily rising above the mulch to lay your mulch down so you don't accidentally cover them. Plus, if you put the mulch down before they've had a chance to sprout, then you might get the seeds too deep and you won't get as good a germination success. I spread the greener grass that you see here just yesterday, and you can see it's drying nicely. I try to not spread it any deeper than 2 inches. It will settle some, so that's nice. One thing to be careful of with mulching is that if it covers any irrigation hoses or soaker hoses, you'll be much more prone to damage them while weeding. I haven't had as much problem with that since I switched to Netafim because it's stronger. Well, I switched to Netafim in this raised bed. I'm switching in most places. But I did ruin a soaker hose just this year because I got it under some mulch. So for review, don't mulch too deeply. Don't mulch with something that might be putting seeds or substances in your garden beds that you don't like. And that's about it. Mulching is a wonderful gardening technique. You can cover a lot of small weeds that would be very tedious to pull one by one. Some of the taller weeds you might want to pull before you mulch. But mulching will make things easier to pull, will keep your soil a little moister and more friable, will add compost to the soil over time. I have not seen any bad effects from just mulching with grass over the years. My soil is very happy. My plants are very happy. Do you like my pretty Cape daisies next to my calendulas? I think they're gorgeous.